Hello, I'm Yvonne Winfrey UG. In this video, I'll be taking you through on how to cut a straight princess dad dress with circle sleeves. You're welcome. So my fabric is already folded into two parts. So we'll be dividing most of the measurements by two. So this is the front part that I'm working with first. So starting from the shoulder measurement, which is divided by 2, I get 7.5 inches. But since I will be working with the princess dart, I will increase the shoulder measurement by 1 inch. So ensure you do that. So from that shoulder measurement, I'll go down by 8 inches as my armhole length. And then I'll roll out a line. At the top part, I will go down by 1 inch as my shoulder slant. At the neck area, I mark 3 inches as neck width and then 4 inches as neck depth, and then I carve out, and that will be our neck area. So from the neck, I connect to the 1 inch shoulder slant, and then from that 1 inch shoulder slant, I move up by 1/2 inch and connect it to the another 1/2 inch on the neck width, and then that will work as our seam allowance at the neck region. So at the armhole, I mark out the midpoint, and from that midpoint I move in by 1/2 inch, and then I carve out the armhole. And this is just for the front, don't do it for the back. The back, you don't move in by that 1/2 inch, and that 1/2 inch varies from person to person according to sizes. For smaller people, it goes to like 3/4 inch. So from the shoulder line, I go down by 9 inches as my bust line, and to get that 9 inches, I divide by bust measurement by 4 inches. Here I'm marking my waistline, will be at 17 inches. Then I go down by 7 inches to mark the hip line, and whatever I mark at the hip line is what I mark on the hemline. So getting my calculator, I get all my measurements, that is for the bust, the waist and the hip, and I divide by 4 inches, and whatever I get, I add by 2 inches. The first 1 inch is for seam allowance, and the other 1 inch is the dart allowance. So I do that at the bust line, at the waistline, and at the hip line for both the front and the back pieces. So whatever I did here on the front part, I did the same on the back part, as you will see as we go on. And after I marked the lines and connected, but when it comes to the hemline, if you want your dress to be pencil, at the hemline, just mark 2 inches. You move in by 2 inches or 1.5 inches from the edge to achieve that pencil shape. So if you have your rulers, just make sure you use them and then connect these markings that we have here perfectly. But if you can do it by freehand as I did here, just do so and mark out everything from the armhole or from the bust line to the hemline. So that is what we have so far. So now let's achieve our dart, or the princess dart. So to achieve the princess dart, my nipple to nipple measurement that I'm working with in this video is 7 inches, so I divide that 7 inches by 2. Since the fabric is folded, I get 3.5 and I add half an inch. So there you're seeing we are having 4 inches, so we'll be marking 4 inches till to the hemline, just from the bust area. So my bust point is at about 9 inches. I mark it there, and then I go down, marking 4 inches from the center front till the hemline. So after marking all through the 4 inches, I come at the bust point. I connect from the bust point a line that goes through the midpoint of the armhole. So this is the bust point. I will connect to the armhole, the midpoint of the armhole, like that. So there we have our princess dart. So after marking this, I will cut it through and take this front part, press it as you see here. There, that is after marking the front. So I will cut it through and take it to the back part. I've moved out by 1 inch as zipper allowance there, and the neck width is 1.5 inches for the back. That is the zipper allowance. At the back I will be adding a zip, and that is the princess dart. So I'll just cut through everything. I start from the neck width of the back, which is 1.5 inches. That's the neck depth, 1.5 inches, and then the neck width is just the same as the front. Mind you, we have a zipper allowance at the center back. Then I just cut out the sides, the shoulder, and even the princess dart. So here we are cutting everything. Make sure your seam allowances are added everywhere they are needed. So now let's cut out the princess dart just from the hemline all through the armhole. So this is what I'm doing now. And after cutting, I will have side pieces. There will be 2 side pieces for both the front and the back, and the middle piece, 1 middle piece, and then 2 side pieces for each front and back part. So just for easy identification, you can just go on our markings. You can put F for the front and then B for the back pieces. Remember, the upper one is the front, so you remove that first, and then what will remain with is the back pieces. 2 pieces are on the side, and the middle one is just 1, but still we'll cut it through so that we add zip when it comes to that back part. So when it comes to cutting the sleeve, I lost some of the footage, but before I folded it into 2 and then into 4, the fabric before, but I considered the sleeve length to fold those side pieces. So the sleeve length times 2, then I folded into 1, and then I folded again into 2. So that is the sleeve length there, which is 10.5 inches. So after all the folding, I put my tape at the middle point, and then I mark 10.5 inches all through, and then connect the points, and then I cut out. That is how I achieved that circle sleeve. Now to achieve the circle armhole inside this entire circle sleeve, we'll mark that middle point as you see me there. From that middle point, I get my armhole measurement and divide it by 6.28. Whatever I get is what I'm going to be using. So the entire armhole is about like 17 inches. So I divide by 6.28, I get like 2 point something, and from the middle point I mark 2.5 inches there. As you see me there, from one of those lines, just choose any, you can work with any. So after marking your 2 point something, 2.5, you go again by 2.5 inches, marking it all around that midpoint that we've gotten. So I'll be marking 2.5 all through. So whatever measurement you get after dividing by the 6.28, remember the 6.28 is a constant that we use when we are getting a full circle. And when it is half circle, you just divide by 3.14. So here I'm all through, I just mark 2.5 or whatever the measurement that you get. The armhole varies, and then you just connect the points and you will find that you come out with another circle shape. So you cut that circle shape through, and you will realize that after cutting it out, one of the part will be longer and the other is shorter. So the longer is what we will be placing on the upper part or the midpoint of the armhole as we are sewing this sleeve onto the main fabric. So you can just notch out those middle parts for easy identification there, and there you can just notch them out. So I use that first sleeve that I cut out and cut another second sleeve. So those are the sleeves folded into two. So now when it comes to sewing with the other parts, I will be sewing starting from the hemline. So starting from the hemline, so that the other upper point, when it comes to the curved area of the princess dart, it curves out perfectly. And you find that after everything, after sewing, you will have an excess of 1 inch on that middle upper point, but it won't be seen on this lower point. So this is what I'm talking about. There's an excess of 1 inch here. This is after sewing. So we cut out that excess, we don't need it, but we needed it on this side piece so that it fits on perfectly to our measurement. So that's the use of that 1 inch that we added on the shoulder point at the start. Hope you guys understand everything. You see, on the hemline, I started sewing from the hemline and it is perfect. So after I measure out the exact shoulder measurement, which was 8 inches that I'll be working through, I connect that marking to this other side of the armhole and connect everything perfectly as that would be, and then I cut out that excess. We really needed that excess 1 inch. So that 1 inch is perfectly done on the side pieces, but then on the upper part it comes out as excess that we cut out. So I after connecting everything, this is what I have, and then I bring out my sleeve, and at the notched part of the longer part of the sleeve, I pin it on the midpoint of the armhole on the main sleeve. So there you just get your pins and then pin the sleeve on the all around the armhole, and then you take it to the sewing area and you finish everything. That is for both sleeves. You do it on this side and on the other side of the sleeve. Then after, you just do all your finishings. You finish up the neck area, the hemline, and guys, after everything, this is the dress. This is how it looks. The zip is attached on the back, as you see there. The sleeves are all finished, even around the hem. the princess that is just there perfectly. So guys, this is how the dress comes out, perfectly and neatly done. It is so nice. I love it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video to whoever you may find useful. Bye bye.